I have my psych degree, and here's what you need to know before you go into it. Before deciding to be a psych major, you just gotta ask yourself why you really want to do it. A lot of psych majors I've met wanted to go into therapy or clinical psychology, but there's a lot of people like me who didn't really want to do that and want to go more down a research route. And then some people just want to look at these crazy people in our society, the killers, the sociopaths, the psychopaths, and they want to study them and how their minds work. And I want to preface what I'm about to say with I love psychology. I think it's super cool, and I'm super glad I did it. I don't regret going into the major at all or getting a psychology degree, but there's one thing you should understand is that when you come out of school, you go to a 4-year university here in America, you are not going to get a job, at least not to the level at which you expect to get a job. You will find a way to get employed, but a lot of psych majors do things that are unrelated to psychology in their work, which if that's what you want to do, that's totally fine. And then the people that do get a job, you don't get paid. Like if you're going into this major because you think you're going to get money, someone lied to you. You're not going to get paid. So don't go into it for money. And you might think, well, I'm just going to become a clinical psychologist. I'm just going to become a therapist. I'm going to get my PhD and I'm going to make money that way. And you can do that, but you're going to be in like your early 30s by the time you're out of school. And while you're doing that, you're going to be watching all of your friends on social media grow up and live lives and get married and have kids and start a family and all of these things. And you're still going to be in school, and then you will get your money. But if you're doing it just for the money, you're going to be sad. Another big reason people are psychology majors is because it's notoriously an easy major. But I just think you shouldn't go into psychology unless you are genuinely interested in it, unless you are willing to sacrifice a potential higher paying salary for your interest in your career that you choose. If you're going to study psychology just because it's easy, I don't think that's the right reason. I would pick something like communications or maybe some sort of business degree where you could probably earn a lot more money, maybe take a couple psychology classes along the way. That's really all you're going to need to satisfy that interesting vibe that a lot of people are looking for. Just take a couple of psychology classes. You don't have to be a whole psychology major, and then go take on some other major that is going to be easy and is going to give you money. And if that's what you want, that's okay, go do that. But I don't think psychology is the place for you, because if you're not super interested in it, when you get out and you expect all these jobs to be waiting for you, they're not. No one's really hiring psychology majors, at least not with a 4-year degree, to do at least the things that you want to be doing with your degree. Does that make sense? I don't know. Bottom line, if you're going to major in psychology, you're going to likely need to go to grad school in some capacity. You're going to need to get a master's or a PhD, or we have in psychology a PsyD. And if you think psychology is just super interesting, I think you're right. I mean, it's a very young science. There's still so much that psychology doesn't understand, but there's still so much up to this point that we have learned that I think is incredibly fascinating. I think if you can, I think you should double major. I did not double major as a psychology major, but I know a lot of people who did. I know a lot of people who've double majored as a psychology major and a marketing major, and I think that's a match made in heaven. I mean, at the end of the day, all this marketing knowledge of how to get people's attention and get them to buy your product is derived from psychology. In general, through pretty much all of my classes, there's a lot of reading, I would say. There's just a lot of reading. If you actually want to learn this stuff, there's just, you get assigned textbook chapters and you go read, and that's just what you do. One big misconception about psychology that I want to clear up is that a lot of people think they go into psychology and they maybe have mental issues of their own. Maybe they're depressed, maybe they're super anxious or something like that. And because they're depressed or anxious, or they've seen a therapist, they want to become a therapist themselves, or because they're depressed and anxious, or because they're sad all the time, or because they're always unmotivated. The thought process is something like, if I learn about psychology, well, then I am impervious to being sad. Did I use that right? Not allowing fluid to pass through. That's close enough. There's this meme basically goes around, and it's like, dude, how can you be sad? You're a psychology major. Just look at your notes, bro. And psychology doesn't fix those things. It doesn't make it so you can never be sad or never be angry or never be paranoid or anxious. It doesn't solve any mental issues or sort of mental problems that we all deal with as human beings. You do get a better understanding of what's physiologically happening in your brain and in your body. And when you experience something or experience a thought or experience an emotion, you're able to correctly label what is happening inside of you, what your brain is doing. You understand fully what you're going through, but that doesn't stop you from going through it. You're still going to experience sadness. I don't know if that's a spoiler alert, really. I feel like that shouldn't be that much of a secret. Now, does being knowledgeable about what's going on with your brain, with your body, help you in being able to sort of treat yourself and being able to become self-sufficient in, I don't know, dealing with your own mental issues? Absolutely, but only if you apply what you're learning in your classes. I think there's a lot of people in the psychology major who come in and they don't apply what they're learning at all. And it's so confusing, because I think that's one of the biggest advantages of being a psychology major as opposed to any other major, is you can apply what you're doing to your everyday life, to your friends' lives, to your family's lives. You have all this knowledge and you can help people, and especially yourself, and people just don't look in the mirror. I don't know. It doesn't really make any sense to me. The smallest yet most prominent example I can think of, you take some intro psychology class, and part of that is they teach you how to learn. They teach you the most effective ways to learn, effective ways to study, and yet people just don't use them in the psychology class. Like we just told you the cheat codes to life. We just told you this is how you study, this is how you get a perfect grade, and the people don't use them. And I get it. Like, not everyone's there just to learn. Not everyone is there in school to try to be a brainiac. A lot of people in at least American universities might be here just to hang out. They have their school paid for. Why not? They're gonna party, they're gonna have a good time. More power to them. I just think if you're gonna be a psychology major, you should consider a couple things. You should maybe consider a double major. You should consider probably you're going to have to go to grad school if you actually want to pursue a career in something in the psychological sciences. You should consider if you don't double major and you don't go to grad school and you come out with a psychology degree, you're not gonna get offered much money and you're gonna struggle to find jobs that are related to psychology. You should consider that this is an easier major, and the biggest advantage of it is that everything you learn can be applied to your life. And if you understand how to leverage that knowledge, you will be much better off for it. Any job you go get, you will be working with people, you'll be working under people, you'll become a manager, and you'll be working and leading people. And if you know how to do that effectively, you will be rewarded for that in the corporate world. You should consider that if you're going into a psychology degree so that you could become a licensed therapist, a licensed clinical psychologist, and so you can help people, that is amazing. We need people like you to come learn this stuff so you can go help others, and that would be a great thing to do. But understand that that will take a long time to learn. Just make sure you're going to be a psychology major for the right reasons. I don't want you to be disappointed. I don't want you to feel as though you got in and got cheated when you got out. People told you there'd be jobs and there wasn't. People told you you wouldn't have to go to grad school and you do. People told you could be a therapist when you're 22 and you can't. I just want you to understand what you are signing yourself up for. Now, I might not have painted psychology in the best light. I mean, I've really just been ranting at a camera for a while now. I don't remember exactly what I've said. If you have any questions or comments on anything I said, or you disagree with something I said, or you agree with something I said, I don't know, just leave a comment. I'll be down there. I'll be reading them. This is not a very big channel. I'll see the comment and I'll respond to it, and yeah, we can have a good discussion. Maybe I said something that I wasn't super clear about, or maybe you thought this video was horrible and you were like, man, that was the worst advice I've ever received, and I'm a psychology major and everything you said was wrong. You can let me know that too. We're all here on just floating, spinning rock in outer space, just trying to be better people. So I'm open to that too. That's really all I've got for right now. Go learn stuff.